I learn you. Diversity, teach me. I teach you like university. Freedom be.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our learning series. This is the episode on religious microaggressions. Now, if you haven't heard of microaggressions, especially in the religious sense, what that means is that it is an offense or a subtle slight that offends someone's religious identity, right? So, for example, if someone is Christian or Muslim and you have a stereotype about them and you made a statement that offends them in an interaction, because remember, microaggressions are often unconscious, but they can be conscious, and they usually happen in a direct interaction. So a microaggression usually happens between two people. A macroaggression happens at an institutional level. It's like, for example, if you do a Muslim travel ban, that is a religious macroaggression. You feel me? But we talking about microaggressions today, so I digress. Now, what this means is that you've done something offensive, whether it is verbal, nonverbal, or environmental or behavioral, to offend someone's religious identity. So let's get into it. What are the different kinds of religious microaggressions? The first one is pathologizing different religious groups. So that means you say that all Christians are hypocrites, or all Christians don't believe in LGBTQIA plus populations and their right to be married. Say you've created an assumption based on a group because of the way that that group has been perceived and or you've interacted with them. This also is an occurrence for Muslim populations. You think that all Muslims are terrorists. You think that all Muslims are violent because for some reason, whatever you have exposed yourself to has programmed you to believe that people of a certain religion are a certain way. Now, I'm not saying that there's not people in those religions who may actually be what you are referring to, but let's be clear about stereotypes. The thing about stereotypes is not that they're untrue, it's that they're not a whole story. A stereotype is a piece of a story that often has maybe a beginning or a middle or an ending, but not the whole story, right? So when you think about that, for example, that is the pathologizing of religious groups. And I want to be clear. I posted this the other day. If you follow me on social media, I've heard a lot of people in our comments and just in our field talking about Christians are under persecution. We're being seen as privileged. No, you're not. Although when we think about religious preferences, Christians are definitely at the top on a massive global scale. But I'm not saying that Christians are being persecuted. No, you're not. You being held accountable because you believe in Christ, but you don't act like him, especially if you are discriminated against other groups. The next is you endorse those stereotypes. So the endorsing of religious stereotypes. That means that you recreate or you repost, or even at work, for example, you don't always celebrate someone else's religion. So think about when you go into a workplace, y'all don't know how often in our field, I see workplaces that have Christmas parties. Well, everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas. So you have a party that celebrates a Christian holiday, but you don't really acknowledge Ramadan, right? Or you don't acknowledge any kind of Muslim holiday. Or maybe you don't acknowledge Kwanzaa, for example. You say, but we're gonna have a Christmas party. No, you need to have a winter party, and you need to honor and acknowledge any religion that celebrates their religion during that time. Right? And remember, we just talking about religious microaggressions. I'm not talking to people who are atheists and or don't believe or practice religion, or people who are spiritual. But you should also be including them. Think about the fact that people who are spiritual might have spiritual days when Mercury is in retrograde. Honey, don't get me started. But what I'm saying to you is, if you're going to create holidays, Easter, sometimes you give people Good Friday off. You got to stop doing that and making it mandatory. Now listen to me when I say, you can say, I'm gonna give people PTO for their cultural holidays and or preferences, and we're gonna honor all of these preferences in a list. And then you just allow people to take the time, because contrary to what you might believe, some people might wanna work on Christmas. Some people might wanna work on New Year's. Everybody don't celebrate holidays. So you have to have more inclusive practices to be able to include more of your staff who has diverse religious identities. Now, these are just some tips and tricks. If you really want to learn more, we do full trainings on all of these things on our platform on Inclusology. But you got to subscribe to it, so check us out. Website is in the description. You can go look to learn more and subscribe to our online educational platform. But I am Dr. CI. Don't forget to share in the comments section if and when you have faced, committed, or witnessed a religious microaggression, because we want to hear your stories. We use that for data to educate people, so contribute to the education of others if you want to. I appreciate you. Y'all go ahead and take care of yourselves and other people. I'll be back in the building with another training. Y'all have a great day.